your understanding of our economy should be different from the other economy, which is a bit more structured. Because in some economies, people have ready access to credit. It's on their card. They can go to anywhere and just use their credit card, even though they have not worked for that money. Our economy is more of, if you have the money, you spend. If you don't have the money, you don't spend. So working in this kind of economy, and the knowledge that you need to succeed in this kind of economy is, for me, is a bit more different from the one that has different components. So for instance, those who live in economies where you have cheap interest rate, you have good access to mortgage, very cheap, you have credit cards, you work, you have ready jobs. If you start business, the institutions are there to push you. That kind of financial understanding, that kind of financial knowledge is different from in an economy where the people don't have access to credit, so to say. They have to have the money to spend. Access to credit is that tough, and interest rate is that high. Your understanding in this kind of economy should be different, and that is not something that is taught in school. It's something that you get to have by doing and by being able to understand the structure of this economy. And so our economy, if you look at it, is largely, I'm not talking of people who have revenues in excess of, say, 10 million Ghana cedis per year, kind of, I'm not talking of those kind of people. They probably have moved from that threshold of being financially illiterate, But a large chunk of our people are not getting that kind of revenue. And so those are the people that we try to talk to in terms of financial knowledge. If you're working and they pay you 5,000 a month, 2,000 a month, kind of, it means that your revenue for the whole year is less than 50,000 or 20,000. Now, what kind of financial knowledge that those of us, or those people with that kind of revenue, must have in this kind of economy? And if you look at it well, you see that how the money is made largely is maybe from salary, from salaries, or from those of us who are doing businesses, from your contract, from your business. And largely, most of these businesses maybe are making less than $1 million a year, or maybe less than 10 million a year. What kind of choices are we making with regard to these businesses? Because every decision, every choice, every thinking, every strategy that we are employing is really coming from our level of understanding in terms of financial knowledge. And if you look at it well, if your parents, for instance, were not rich, if your parents did not have much money, if your parents were not people who upgraded their financial knowledge, and they were just if your mother was, say, a teacher, his level of financial understanding is that level. He may be able to do one or two things to support the family revenue, but that's about it. Now, we are talking of financial knowledge that you need to lift yourself to maybe a higher level of financial independence, of a higher level of financial success. How do you develop that? How do you develop that? I am of the opinion that you have to understand that your background has affected the way you carry yourself in terms of finances. So your financial knowledge is really a reflection from your background, from your family, and from maybe even the courses that you read. And those of us, those who even have maybe a first degree in finance or MBA, really it's just the terminologies that they understand, and maybe the financial statements that they can interpret. But it's not really how the money has to be made, and how the money has to be kept, and how the money has to be multiplied. So the average information that such people give is more of how to work for the money, how to save the money, and maybe how to buy a car, or how to build a house with that money. And largely that's all about it. and the moment you're able to build a house or buy a nice car, then to the majority of the people, you have succeeded financially. That is not what I'm talking of. I'm talking of the finances that you can create multiple streams of income that are more than what you are spending in the household or on yourself or even in a business. So how do you keep such money that you make? First of all, how do you make them, and how do you keep such money, and how do you even multiply them in this kind of economy? For instance, when you go to maybe some economies where they talk about real estate investment, you see that the cost of the mortgage or the investment is cheap and it's long term. And if you're able to prove your model, you're likely to get access to some of them. Maybe they make you pay some level of percentage and they support you with that, and it's cheaper. Here, they are charging way beyond, and most likely that they are even charging, maybe 20% even on a dollar. So how do you build an investment? Even if you are building to rent and you go to some of these institutions and they are giving financing to you around 30%, and you need say 200,000. First of all, they want you to make maybe 20% deposit, and then they support the 80% with cost, which is maybe 30%. That is tough. That is not doable. I think maybe it's even better to build that apartment or that building that you want to rent with your own money than going to credit or for a loan, which is about 30% a year or more, and call that an investment, because within 2 years or 3 years, that money that you took from them would have multiplied by 2. And so your rent, how the rent that you are going to take from that structure or from that building will not be able to even pay the interest, let alone the main money that you're taking. So it means that the avenues that people have to multiply their money in terms of real estate in some well-controlled market is not that available to this kind of market. Maybe this kind of market, maybe you would have to build and sell than going for loan to build and to rent and thinking that you're doing a very good job. Because even if you are building by yourself, it will take a while for you to finish building. And if they are going to take 30%, 40% a year by giving you money, it doesn't add up. So those are the things that you would have. So in this kind of economy, how do you even multiply the money? I think that the best way would be to continue to learn how to build your businesses and build multiple businesses so that you can grow the money yourself, than trying to grow the money through real estate investment, which you lock the money forever, and the returns may not be able to even pay for the credit that you had. So that is one, and I think that for people who did who went into agriculture, for instance, I think they make a better sense to me in terms of the structure of this economy. Because if you build, say, if you do cocoa farm, for instance, and you invest there, I think if you're able to manage it well, you'll be better off than trying to go for credit to build an apartment to rent. Now, even if it's your money, if you look at the numbers well, you see that maybe it's far better to even buy treasury bills and sleep. Even though it doesn't give you the best of returns, it's far better than trying to go and build a house with the same kind of money, looking at the returns that you get and the things that you have to go through to even manage the apartment. But of course, if you have developed your business skills, then you see that you have a far much more leverage in terms of knowing how to multiply your money, whether through this particular business that gave you the money, or maybe starting other businesses, that because you have developed your skill in building businesses, you become a better person in multiplying your money. So our financial knowledge is a reflection of our understanding of debt, of what they call asset, of the things that we spend money on. They are all reflections of how much we understand in terms of money. Our financial knowledge is really a reflection of everything that we have been through as a people. And so far our choices reflect that we don't really have not updated our knowledge in terms of expenditure, because you see people make all kind of choices as if they are going to live forever, or as if they are making a lot of money, and that is what the financial institutions also play on, because they really know that we don't know much about money. They know it. That's why you see a lot of us business people who start early, and you go to them, they know that you don't even understand the implications of what you're signing. A lot of them know, and they know that the finance that they have given you will go bad. They know it, but still they will go ahead and push it on you because they want their interest. They want to keep their business growing. So our ignorance is really a blessing to some of these institutions, especially the microfinance people on the market. They just pounce on our ignorance, and a lot of us are ignorant. We don't even add the numbers, because if you're ignorant, or the hash it, maybe you are not ignorant by the hash, but really we are ignorant in going for such finances. So we should know the level of our financial knowledge compared to the economy. We should know the level of our financial knowledge, and we should know how to multiply the little money that is coming to us. Because if you start to get money, for instance, you don't start to spend that money that is coming directly to you. And these are the proofs that people really don't understand the importance of money. People don't understand the importance of money. People don't understand the importance of money by the choices that we are making in spending this money that we are making. Because you are saving the money. Let's say you are paid 2,000 a month, you are saving 500, and once you start to save the money and you get to 10,000, maybe over a period of 1 year or two, you use that money to buy a house, to buy maybe a car, or to buy whatever you buy, and that thing that you bought is not going to get you any revenue. And yet you sweated so much before you got that kind of money. It shows that your level of understanding of money is that weak. It shows. And that is what they did not give us. They did not tell us that if you make the money, multiply the money, and learn how to multiply the money and continue to multiply the money before you start to spend that money. They did not drum that in our mind, because your parent, if they didn't have money, they have given you some kind of understanding of money, but that understanding of money cannot make you make right decisions to be financially independent. And it doesn't matter your level of education. If they did not teach you, you don't know it. And yet you go to some of these even experts to teach you, and they will only teach you how to save it and maybe put it on the stock market, and that's all about it. And that's what people really call financial knowledge. People really call financial knowledge is how to just work and save the money and give it and give what they call investment. So if you put your money on the Ghana stock market, for instance, what say do you have in terms of how much they give you? You don't have any say. So they trade with the money and they give you maybe 15%. And you're happy, because we have refused to update our knowledge. We have refused to go through the pain to learn this kind of knowledge. And if you do any research on financial education, you will see that people with higher financial education are people who have committed themselves to study this, or people who are coming from backgrounds where their parents had some high level of financial education and they trained them. Whether their parents were business people or maybe some rich people who knew how to make money themselves, and so they taught their children how to make this money. Now, a large number of us are not coming from that kind of background, and so we grow with the same poor mind, poor financial education. But because we are working and they are paying us good money, we think that because we can work and get that kind of revenue, it means that we know how to make money. That's not true. You are just working to be paid, which is a good thing. But in terms of you getting a lot of assets or developing that understanding to get more of that kind of money, you would have to lift yourself beyond the financial knowledge that they gave us from our homes or the ones that they told you in any seminar. You have to. It's a discipline, and I don't think that if your parents were not rich, or if you didn't chance to have somebody who is rich and who educated you, you have that kind of knowledge. You don't. And so the rich people look at the poor people and they see how they spend their money, and it's hard for them to tell you. Why? Because they committed to learning it, or maybe somebody taught them. And so you see how they spend their money. They are spending from the excesses. You see them with nice car, and it's about maybe the excesses that they are spending from. But to the poor man, if he rides the Land Cruiser with all that the money that he worked for, it shows that he thinks that he's rich. But that's not true. Because if they fire him from that job, the next 2 months, you'll be back selling that car. If they fired, and for me, that's where entrepreneurship is one of the best things that you can learn, because then you start to make all the mistakes to understand how money is made, and by the time you have money, you see that you are making the right choices. And most business people, because you are going to work to pay somebody revenue, you tend to increase your financial knowledge anyway, anyhow, because people are going to depend on you for you to pay salary, let alone feed your family or feed yourself. So that will push you to get better understanding of knowledge, even if your parents did not teach you this kind of knowledge. But I think that people who work for money or who are on salaries seem to be relaxed and seem not to be disturbed so much about their financial understanding, because it's just about just work, save it, and then continue to work and continue to work and continue to work. You see, when a tragedy hits, that's why you get to understand that you did not know much in terms of financing, because then they fire you from the job, and now you have to feed the family. You still have to keep this kind of lifestyle. You went for this mortgage. You have to keep the house. You will see that you don't know that much about money, and then you live in panic all the time, because if you're not able to pay that rent or that mortgage, then the next minute you are fired. So up your financial knowledge, and it's a conscious effort to learn it, how the money is made and how you can make more just from one revenue. And that's why when you start business, you are pushed into a financial knowledge that is not just about financial statement or savings or just working for money. You tend to develop the discipline. You tend to develop the discipline to make the money and to control it and to grow it through your businesses. And that kind of education is not the ones that they are giving us in the classroom. It's the kind of education that you have to have it first as a person, and then you can transfer it to your business. So in our economy, you should customize your financial education to suit our economy, because our economy is opposite the rest really of the world. If you look at, say, if you buy a car, it tends to appreciate here. If you buy a car, it tends to appreciate, so to say. But in some places, if you buy a new car and you drive it on the road, the price goes down. So our economy is really opposite. We buy with cash, and some people have easy access to credit. And so the poor man in that kind of environment, because he has access to credit, he doesn't even know that he will pay it back. So he just uses it, and he is locked in it forever. The same with business people here. If your financial knowledge was that weak, the time they were giving us the loan, if your knowledge was that weak, you will not even calculate all the implications. And then you see that you are in cage and you are trying to fight back from that cage because of your little understanding of finance. And the moment you up your financial education, you see that you are able to even negotiate better. You're able to even say no to this and say yes to that. And so if you are going to live in this world, you are going to use money. And a lot of our choices are going to be determined by money. A lot of people, if they had money, they will not even work the place that they are working. A lot of people, if they had money, they will not even live in the countries that they are living. A lot of people, if they had money, their children will not be going to that school that the children are going to. And yet it's one of the education that we don't really sit down to get. It's the same as health. Your health is a reflection of your health education, your knowledge on health. So if you like your eating habits, for instance, they inform what the diseases that you're going to have along the line, the energy level you're going to have along the line. You know, the food that you buy. It's the same. It's the same when it comes to finances. Our choices are a reflection of our financial education that we have had, subconsciously or consciously, unconsciously or consciously. The one that your mother didn't teach you, or they taught you, your uncle didn't teach you, or they taught you, or your father didn't teach you, or they taught you, or what the family or the community or the country did not teach you, or they taught you. You know, we are just living that. So it doesn't matter what job you have now, you are still a reflection. Because some people are paid, say, 10,000 Ghana cedis a month, but by the close of the month, the man is in negative. It's just his understanding of finances, you know. Or the man saved 30,000 to go and do wedding one day. Meanwhile, the man is paid 1,000 Ghana cedis a month. That means that you are going to save for the next 30 months to get 30,000, and yet you are paid 1,000, which means you are not able to save that 1,000. So why do you use 30,000 for wedding for one day? It's a reflection of your financial knowledge. And then when you are together with a woman and all these complications are coming, you are going to give birth, they are asking for money for operation, what are you going to do? Because you use all that money for that one day show, and yet you are coming from a family that you don't have money. You know, so it's a reflection. It's not just your day. It's just that you don't understand how money works, and nobody taught you. So you're going to learn it from a hard way, and that can have a huge impact on this new marriage that you have. You know, it's the same way to say even people going to school, for instance. You raise that money to go and pay, say, 50,000 Ghana cedis for that second degree. And then you finish school, you come back, and they just added maybe 2% of that salary that the first degree gave you. Which means that 50,000, you have really wasted it. And it's going to take you a while for you to accumulate 50,000. You know, so our choices of money is just a reflection of understanding of money. It's as simple as that. It's a reflection of understanding of how money is made, and that is coming from your background, your education, your culture, your personal choices, the things that you have decided to learn, and the things that you have not decided to learn. And so money is that important. You don't just you started this business, and your first money that you had, you are using it to go to buy a car. You don't need that car. You don't need that car. Still use the public transport, and make sure the business is at a level that you can have comfort before you look at buying a car. But because money is emotional, so to say, and people are eager to let people see them as successful, we lack that kind of discipline to keep at it to a level that we think we have excess before we can even let people know that we have money. For instance, some people say if you rent for example in our country, and you have money, you have a higher edge to go and stop the business and go and build your house, because then you want to tell people that you are rich. Meanwhile, you are paying maybe a rent of 500 Ghana cedis a month or 400 Ghana cedis a month, which means the whole year you are paying maybe just less than 5,000. Now, if you want to build a house, 3, 4 bedroom, 5 bedroom house, you're not going to spend less than 300,000 Ghana cedis. And yet this is the money that the business needs. And so you because of pride, and you think that owning that house is an investment. It's not an investment. The house that you are living in is not an investment, because you're going to still keep on spending on that house. You maintain that house, you repair the roofing, you will paint that house again, you weed the yard. So just about the rent money is keeping that house as neat. So if you push all your capital to go and build that house, by the time you finish building that house, the only thing that you have is the pride that will own a house, which is not bad pride, but in terms of financial independence, in terms of you being able to say that I will not, if the job is relocating you to a place that will have some impact on your family, you will not have the opportunity to say that I'm not going, because you have pushed all your money in your house. And yet you should have that leverage of having some kind of money that you can say that I cannot go to this area, and if you are pushing me to go there, then I might as well stop this work so that I can take care of my family. You know, you don't have that priority because you made a bad choice. You know, You made a bad choice. So if somebody is even maltreating you, we just have to put up with it because we have not saved, we have not invested that much. We don't have a lot of areas bringing in that money, and we delay these things because we all didn't know the choices. So if you start to build a business, lift the business to a stage where you have free money before you start to spend on yourself, before you start to send your children to all this complex high-paying school, or you start to build in a very nice house which is going to cost you a lot of money, or you start to buying cars for yourself or buying nice clothes for yourself because you think that people should think that you have money. But the man who is rich is really the man with a lot of avenues of money coming in all the time. It's not the man who is proving that he's rich by how he lives, the house he has built, or the cars that he drives. I don't think that is really a proof that you are rich. The proof that you have money is the avenues that the money are coming in. That's the proof. And that what is coming in is way more than what is going out. What is coming in is way more than. So your household revenue is, say, maybe 20 cedis, but you have 1,000 coming in. Then we can say that you are rich. And a lot of the money that is coming in, because you have spent your life building those, you may not even have to be there for those kind of cash to come in. So I don't see people rich just by what they drive or where they live. No, I really want to see how much comes in, in what they do, and how genuinely those things are. And that is a proof of their financial education. So for you to have a good financial education, you just have to understand that maybe the knowledge that they gave you when you were growing up was not that strong enough. If your parents were poor, it's likely that your financial education is not that strong. So you have to lift yourself to get that kind of financial education and build yourself. If your parents worked all their lives for money, it means that they have advised you just to stay within your lane and be careful, And so you have also not even bought books to read books, and to lift your understanding of finances. And you may not even have tried any business at all, And so you left that game. You have to understand that this level of knowledge that I have will not be able to help me to become financially free, And that's why I think people tend to steal. People tend to lie. People tend to cut all kind of corners, because they still have to keep that lifestyle, and their financial knowledge is not able to get that kind of revenue, or their financial discipline is not able to get that kind of revenue. If your financial knowledge is strong, you're not disturbed that much about what people are saying, because it doesn't matter how much you make so much as to how much you're able to multiply. So it's a discipline. And it's not financial education, or financial education that will lift you to the realm of freedom. It's not so much even about the jobs. And so you get in that job, and some people it's fascinating. Some people just talk about how much they are paid. How much you are paid is just one source of revenue. One source of revenue. And a lot of the boys who even sell on the street make far more than most of these people who are making noise about how much they are paid. The boys who are in the streets selling, the money that comes to them is far more than a lot of these experts, who are making a lot of noise and telling everybody how much they make. Why? Because of their weak financial understanding. So they think that the 10,000 is that much. A lot of these boys are making 10,000 a month, and they are not even satisfied with that. They are not. But they want to do more. Why? Because they are doing it, and the moment you start to do something, your financial knowledge shifts, because the heat is coming at you. So you get to move out. So your financial knowledge is a reflection of your choices, of your discipline. And a lot of our financial mistakes, whether it's debt or everything, is a reflection of lack of financial knowledge, proper financial knowledge, and proper financial discipline. So and is a bit of it, or a lot of it is just coming from our background. It's coming from our background. So you have to up your game, understand the economy that you operate in, and know how money is made, and know how money is multiplied in this kind of economy. You just have to understand that and develop yourself in that. And financial knowledge is not the one they are teaching you in business school. That's not the kind of thing that I'm talking of, because that knowledge is just for you to get a job in a financial institution. But I'm talking of the financial knowledge that will make you prosper, the financial knowledge that will make you discipline yourself to multiply that money that comes to your hand, and the financial knowledge that can help you to lift yourself out of these financial problems that you have created for yourself, the financial debt that because if you have financial problems, for instance, then we cannot solve the same financial problems with the same kind of thinking that we have, which means we must up the game, increase the financial knowledge. And you can see that the financial knowledge is really limited across board, not just those of us who live here. I mean, I think around the world, financial knowledge is still very weak. It's not just us alone. We happen to have a different economy, so the guy is a mechanic. He has a mechanic shop. He makes a lot of money, but he still believes that he doesn't have money. Why? Because he's not upgraded his financial knowledge. So the man is a teacher. He makes some money. He teaches, maybe he has extra classes and all that. Money comes to him, but yet he still feels that he doesn't have money, because he's thinking that he should be paid 10,000 a month before he makes money. No, the one that comes to your hand, you can multiply it. And the moment you are able to multiply that money, how you multiply that money is your duty. It's a duty. Maybe you partner with your wife, you set up something with your wife, you set up a shop, something that you can do to multiply that money. And the moment you start to do that, you see that the figures and your paradigm even shifts in terms of your understanding of money, of your understanding of money. So financial freedom is really contingent on your financial understanding and on your financial knowledge. And that's why you negotiate on everything. What you even call asset, what you call a japadier, is not the one that is stagnant that people can see. It's the one that is bringing you money. So that Land Cruiser that you have is not really an asset. It's just a show. You are just a show boy. You're just telling people you are rich. So that money that you save to put up a nice house does not show that you are rich. You're only rich to the poor man. You're only rich to the poor man. You're not rich to the rich man. To the genuinely rich people, when they see a rich man, they know. And it's proving of the sources that they have created in terms of revenues coming into them. That's a really rich man, And so that's my take on financial knowledge and how you multiply your money. And our passion to own a house, our passion to have a nice car, our passion to tell people that we are rich is a proof that we have weak financial knowledge. Our negotiations on the loans that we take, at the point we prove that you are ignorant or you are ignorant. And I have been ignorant in that a lot of the times, until I started to learn. And so the financial institutions are taking a good advantage of us because we are ignorant. And it's true. Yeah. And we have carried that into our businesses. That's why and the business will easily collapse if you're weak in financial understanding, or you will go through tough times because you didn't start with proper financial skills. And your proper financial skills are seen in how you even negotiate, how you even negotiate beyond your emotions, beyond the things that you don't understand, so, and how you even invest the money. Some people make money and they say they want to build a hotel or they want to build shops and rent, and they finish building the shops before they even let them. So if you credited that money, would you put that house? Would you use 2 years to put that structure before you start to get somebody to come in? The people who understand the market well don't do it that way. They do it differently. And that's why they're rich. You have never run hotel before. You start to make money and you want to go into that. You should learn it because it's managed differently. And for you to manage a hotel and be that profitable, you should have learned a lot about the operations. Because it's high cost business. So it's not just, so the best form of investment that you want to learn about money is first increase your financial knowledge. increase your financial knowledge, understand the local market, understand how people buy, understand the statistics on the buying ability of our people, where the market is structured. Understand those before you even think of investing money in this economy. And our people carry the same thing and go abroad, and the same thing that they do is the same reflection. They are just making the same choices as those of us who are here. Why? Because of wrong financial information that they didn't give us. And don't depend on just the accountant to give you financial information, because he is working for money. And if he's working for money, it's a financial understanding. It's not the one that will help you to build a strong business. You, the business leader, would have to go through the processes to learn the discipline, because sometimes you can know something, but the discipline to go by what you know is another level. Because sometimes you can tell yourself, I'm not going for this loan, but when the tough times pop in, are you stable? Are you able to keep the pressure and say, yes, I will still not go? And that comes with maturity, that comes with discipline. Because sometimes there is the head knowledge, and then there is the knowledge that is applied well, and so you can know of head, but when you are put under pressure, can you apply what you know? And money is like that, because it's emotional. Because you save money, you save it, and then they say that this guy is very nice, and you know that you're going to use that money to grow the business. What would you do? I think that focus on growing the business, focus on that. Keep the same lifestyle, focus on growing the business to a level that you know that you can have access and that you can spend. It doesn't matter what people think about you. It doesn't. What really is important is you knowing your numbers. Because when there's financial trouble, everybody will leave you. You are the one to solve that. So you might as well take care of your finances well. And our finances, don't leave it in the hands of anybody. It's you. And don't even believe that when they pray for you, you'll be rich. Please, no. It's just like health. Your lifestyle is a proof of your health. The same, our financial lifestyle is a proof of financial health. So if our financial health is weak, it means that we are not doing the right things. And so we have the same power to change it. And sometimes changing it can take a while before you get into the right lane. And so understand that there's what they call financial education. And it is your responsibility to get that. You get that yourself. Don't wait for anybody. You get that yourself. And you have to have a strategy. Get a strategy. Improve your financial plan. Have the economy that you operate in, have it at the back of your mind. This is how the economy behaves. Have a plan. Have a plan, financial plan. I'm going to save 200 Ghana cedis, 100 Ghana cedis every month. And go by it. And when you have saved 1,000, what are you going to use that 1,000 for? And have a strategy and improve your business skills. Business skills. Because I think that based on our economy, the best form of investments are the businesses that you can run well to grow your money. Because the real estate market is not friendly in terms of financing. So if you're going to build houses, say for rent, you might as well build them with your money. And so somebody is using just 10% of that cost to build those, and they give him credit for 15 years. Now you are going to raise that money yourself to build that. You're not going to go at the same pace as that person, at a better rate that they have. But if you understand businesses, you can grow a lot of businesses. And once your businesses have grown to a large extent, then you can use those kind of money wisely. And people who are doing a lot of investment in the agri field in terms of what they call is a cash crop or something, like cocoa or mango. I think those people are doing fantastic work if they know how to manage them well. Than you just pumping all your money to build shops that the rate of occupancy is just about 50%. It means that you're just throwing the money away. You are not adding the rate of growth to that money. But it's still something which is better than losing that money in our economy. And so you look at the economy, the structure, and then you see how you can manage your money and manage it well. I am not talking of people who have been able to build banks, have been able to build insurance companies, companies that are making 100 million revenue a year. I'm not talking of those. I'm talking of a lot of us who have just 1,000, 2,000, who have a company that is making maybe 200,000 a month or 100,000 a month. Those of us in that kind of category, what can we do to grow our business to that level? You may not have any connection in terms of international market. How do you grow your business to that level that you can get access to that? It will call for proper financial understanding, proper financial knowledge before you can grow the business to that level that somebody can come and look at that business and say, I want to invest in this business. It will call for that. But if you're not disciplined at this level, then we will not get to that level where somebody will come in and invest proper money, which is cheap. So we have got to deal with this situation till we get to that stage that somebody can come in with proper money to help the business. And it means that you're going to go through this for the next 5 to 10 years if you're doing it well. Try to lift the business where you can make revenue of say 10 million, 50 million, 100 million a year. It will take you a bit of discipline, a bit of financial knowledge, proper education constantly for you to build that business from 100,000 Ghana a month to 100 million a year kind of business. It will call for discipline, and it will call for a different kind of financial knowledge. I'm not talking of the one that they gave him contract, 100 million contract, and he boom. I'm not talking of that kind of person. I'm talking of the one who is selling something. I'm talking of the one who is producing something. I'm talking of the one who is keeping at it, building his business creditably. You are going to need proper financial knowledge before the business will get to the other levels. Before you can get to the levels of the top guys in Dangote and those kind of people, they have proper financial understanding and they discipline themselves. That's why they have been able to get to those areas where people can say that this man has some kind of knowledge. So without a proper strategy, the financial freedom will not come, and without proper financial understanding, that financial knowledge will not come. And you building a house and buying a car is no proof that you're rich. No. Because if you lose that source of revenue, can you keep that lifestyle? And for how long can you keep it? And do you have the skill to even get back up when you lose that money? That is proper financial knowledge that I'm talking of. Do you have the skill to stay at the problems and win yourself off the problems? Do you have the skill to handle the debt? Do you have the skill to manage the savings and multiply it? Do you have that? Do you have that inner emotional strength to keep the money and grow it without wasting it? That comes with a lot of thinking. That comes with a lot of discipline. That comes with a lot of conscious effort to learn about the money. So what am I talking of? I'm talking of financial education and how you as a person should learn it, because the future of your life depends on it. The future of your family depends on it. The future of your health depends on it. The future of even your marriage depends on it. Your choices are dependent on how much money you control. And the poor person has weak financial knowledge. That's why poor countries have weak financial knowledge. Rich countries have stronger financial knowledge. Weak companies, same. Strong companies have financial knowledge. They're able to manage their finances well and multiply them well. But if you don't know that there is a better financial knowledge, then you will not be able to manage them well. And don't be disturbed about even how much you paid, because that is just one source of revenue. The other sources, you have to be responsible and create them yourself, and that will call for proper financial understanding. And don't save all the money and go and use them on party. That's a bad choice. You go and use them on naming ceremony. You go and use them on your weddings. You go and use them on your funerals. Anytime they call me, they say that somebody is dead and they are gathering money. Sometimes I tell them, listen, you better keep a lot of the money for the children in the family to go to school than just going to spend that money on the person who is gone and who probably did not even leave us anything anyway. He didn't even leave us any money to take care of the children. and then you go and spend all the money on that funeral, the family will be perpetually poor. And those are the choices that we are making all the time because we have weak financial understanding. Because the children are in the house, they have to go to school. They are not setting out any endowment fund for them. The father just died, and the family, instead of them thinking of the children, they are rather thinking of doing a very nice funeral. For me, if the person wanted a nice funeral, he should have left money. So we will do what we can manage, and then we take care of those who are alive. I think that's a good choice. That's a good choice. So you don't use your money anyhow, anyway. You don't just let any people just talk to you and people will always come to you for money. They will always come to you. They create all kind of stories just to take your money, and they will come. There'll be families, there'll be friends, and when you are in trouble, they will not even show up. It will only be you. And so you have to learn how you have to handle your business and your money and your finances as the person, as a family. Think of that. We are all still learning in these areas. We are all still studying. We are still learning because I did not get that when I was born. My mother did her best. My grandparents did their best. My father did his best. But when I started to doing business, then it dawned on me that I didn't know anything, because my decisions prove that I didn't know much about money. It proved so much, and the losses were heavy. So then I had to start to learn and had to start to read. Am I good at it? I'm not sure I'm good at it. I'm still learning. But the good thing is that at least it has occurred to me that there's something called financial education. There's something called financial discipline. There's something called financial strategy. There's something called financial plan. And if I'm going to succeed, I might as well have one. And the moment I have one and stay with it, I will go and grow and grow. And there's no demon in charge of your finances, or it's you. So don't think that there is something to, the basic financial knowledge people don't even have. And they are talking of some cares in their family being responsible for their finances. You don't even understand money in the first place, and how it is made, and how it is kept, and how it is multiplied. So which demon? I think the demon that is responsible for that is the demons of your ignorance. Your ignorance is responsible for your financial mess. It's not any demon anyway. Don't believe those things they say. And finance is no lotto. It's not chance. It's conscious effort. And that is the choices that we all are making. So however you are making your revenue, whether you're employed or you have a business, work, save some of them, and have a plan to multiply the money. And live way below the revenue that is coming in. The moment you lift your lifestyle, the revenue should have been lifted way up. And that's why the so-called, the people who we call rich, that's how they live. They are always living 1% or less of what comes in every month. A lot of people are just living 120% of what comes in, so they are always negative. Why do you change the place that you are staying just because they increase your salary? That doesn't make sense. If the place is still good, why are you changing it? And if you're renting, it doesn't mean the one who built the house is better than you. You just have to have a strategy so that by the time you build your house, you still have a lot of excess money that you can control and live. If you are going and you're old and you are going, you can leave it to your children. Your children should not go and borrow and do insurance, the kind of insurance that they are going around when your parents die. Then you do the insurance to go and bury them. Why don't you tell my parents to make their money so that we can have a very nice funeral for them? So there's a lot of pitfalls in the structure of the economy, in the culture, understanding of money, and the way that we are spending money. There's a lot of pitfalls, and we carry all these pitfalls in our businesses, and that's why we struggle in our businesses that much, because we came in with weak financial understanding, with weak understanding of the economy, with weak understanding of the expenditure or of the expenses, or how the people spend money. We come in with that weak understanding. And I think some of these multinationals also come in with the same kind of weak understanding of our economy. And also they come out with product which is for people with access to credit. And we don't have access to credit card. I mean, I don't have credit card. If I want to spend money, it should be my money, at least that I spend. So you are not coming up with product for people who are just having credit for me to spend. I don't have that. And so if you live in such economies, I think the best form of credit is the credit that you need to build a business. Consumer credit is not good. You don't go and take loan to buy TV or buy buy coat, go and do wedding. No, that's a bad credit. You take credit to do something that can pay the debt, and for you to have some freedom, And yet those are the products that they sell to the poor around the world. They sell consumer credit to the poor all the time. Come and buy TV, buy a phone, change your phone, change your clothes, change your this, change your that, vacation credit. Those are dangerous things, and they are only engineered for the poor man, the average. And the poor man is not the one who looks poor. He can be well dressed, but he's still poor because of his choices, because of his decisions in terms of finances. The poor man is not the one who is trekking. Sometimes the poor man can have a mansion and have a Land Cruiser, but his decisions are poor, because when tough times hit him, he has nothing to depend on. And that's why sometimes when you go to pension companies, you see that this woman worked for 40 years of her life, and now she's coming for 150 Ghana cedis every month to keep up her life. And that is the time that they even have weak health. And it's only a reflection that when they were young, their finances, they did not have good financial knowledge, and they did not have the discipline to stay with that. And sometimes they may even have to sell their so-called asset to keep their health. But they should have planned that if I get to 60, 70, something else should be coming in to take care of me. If I go on pension, I should have more to take care of me. Even if I'm not able to give money to my children, I should not be a liability on them. And these are the things that you only do when you know. And you can correct them when you have some time. And a lot of us are young, so we have a better choice of trying to correct some of these things. And that's how serious financial knowledge is. And so you are not going to wait for SNIT to take care of you when you are old. No, don't wait for SNIT. That's a bad decision to wait for SNIT to take care of you. No. So if you have to build 10-bedroom house, why not build 2-bedroom house or 3-bedroom house? And save the difference and invest the difference where? No. If you have to buy a very good car, which is far more expensive, why not buy a moderate one and use the difference well for the future? So these are things that we all have to think about. Think about it. Financial knowledge is crucial, and yet a lot of our daily decisions, a lot of our daily choices in our economy prove that we have a weak financial understanding. We have a weak one, very weak one, very weak. And so people are hit all the time. So they sack them from the job. The next time, they take their house, they take their car, they take their everything. And then the marriage collapses. Why? Because they can't live with the pain. So there's a lot. And so what I have to say is improve your financial knowledge. At least it starts from there. And then get a strategy. It doesn't matter what strategy that you have, so far as you have that strategy to get you into independence of you, and control your money. Don't let anybody tell you that depend on God for money. The farmer who is doing the farming in my village is not depending on God for seed to sow. He kept some seed from the last year, so when the season came, he had the seed to plant. You can't always live. No, I think that you should have money out of the abundance. You help people. You don't help people. You can't continue to help people out of your lack. And you can't continue to give to people or give to churches out of your lack. No, you give out of your abundance. Out of your abundance. out of your luck, yes, from the beginning. But you cannot be there for 20 years and you're still giving out of your luck. It means that your financial knowledge is weak. You know, and it's your responsibility. It's like your health. You cannot leave your head in the hands of God. It's your responsibility to make sure that you eat right, you rest, you drink water, you do some bit of exercise. You know, you those are the things that you do. It's your requirement. And for instance, if you're going to keep your marriage intact, there are things that people who have been able to marry for long do. That's why they have been able to marry for long. People who have money, there are some things that they do rightly. That's why they have money. And those who don't have, there are some things that they do wrongly. That's why they don't have. It's health, the same. Anytime I go to a restaurant, I look at for people, and usually they are heavy because they like eating. That's why they're heavy. So, and if you look at people who are slim, go and look at their lifestyle. It's likely that they don't eat that much. It's not 100%, but most often than not, that's it. So people who have money that we have to learn from, their decisions about money are different. They make better decisions. That's why they have. I'm not talking of those who become politicians or who are doing all kind of this. No, I'm talking of proper people with conscience, with character, who have money. They make proper decisions of money. They make proper decisions. Anybody that we had who had money, talk to them. The money is a proof of their financial understanding, of the understanding of the principles of money, and how money is created. It's not just, especially if they made it themselves, it's not just because they were blessed. No, they know something, and that thing that they know for their resource, that thing that they know has been responsible for their resource. So every aspect of our lives is the same. Every aspect of our lives, what we know has been responsible for the results that we are producing. So finance is the same. So my name is Kwabena. I've been trying to share with us a financial knowledge at a personal level and what we take into our businesses. Our understanding of finances at the personal level is influenced by our family background, about the books that we read about finances, what our parents told us, what the school didn't teach us about finances, and we carry that into all aspects of our lives. But money is what a lot of decisions are made with. The places that you are working, where you are living, where your children are going to school, the kind of marriage that you had, all of those were influenced by the money that you had. All of those were influenced by the money that you had. And so if you're going to change the future, then you have to change the financial knowledge that you have at the moment. And so far, we just spent money. We just work and spend. We don't work, get the money, multiply it. And out of the excess that we spend, we were not taught that. So we have to learn that ourselves. And it's not hope and luck that one day you'll be rich. It's a strategy. It's a strategy. It's a strategy. If you have strategy, you will get there. If you don't have strategy, there's no chance that you'll get there, because it's no lotto. It's no lotto at all. And so our financial knowledge is responsible for everything that we are doing in terms of finances. And it's not, financial knowledge is not just about savings and stock market and what they call it, treasury bills and those, no, and accounting terms. I'm talking of financial knowledge that is responsible for how much revenue you are getting and how many sources you're using to get that revenue, and how you're able to multiply them and how you're able to invest that kind of money and where you are even investing them. And I'm not talking about people with 100 million, 200 million Ghana cedis. I'm talking about people from 1 Ghana cedis to maybe 5 million Ghana cedis kind of range. The decisions that you're making with the money, they are critical, because they are going to show everything. They are going to show everything. They are going to show everything that you're going to become. Because you will be old, and when you get old, you will see that you were what is the English word? You were wasteful with the money that you had along the line. And you were wasteful because you didn't have the right financial knowledge and the right financial discipline. And all of us are guilty of that, because if your parents were not rich and they did not teach you, and somebody else did not teach you, it means that you did not have that kind of knowledge. You did not have it, and you also refuse to learn that kind of knowledge, and so you hustle all your life. And money is said that you can have money problems all your life. All your life. And a lot, maybe 90% of the world has money problem. Not the abundance of it, but the lack of it. The lack of it. 90% or even more have that. Why? Because the average financial knowledge is just to make you work and spend. That's what they told the slave, they just work. They did not teach them how to make that money and multiply it so that you will not be dependent on them anymore. So you are going to get that kind of knowledge, then you have to have that discipline to get that kind of knowledge yourself. And it does not even matter where you live. Once you get that knowledge, there are opportunities wherever you live. Once you get that knowledge, because every village that you go, there's a rich man there. Every village, there's a rich man there. What made that rich man is his knowledge. Is his knowledge. Is his knowledge. So everywhere you go, you see a rich man there. And you see a poor man there too. The difference is what they know. And so localize the financial knowledge, understand the market that you're operating in, and know how you're going to make the money. And have a structure for your financial success, for your financial independence, and work towards it. And sometimes it's going to take you maybe 20 years, 30 years before you'll be able to get there. But once you develop a plan, then you see that you at least, if nothing at all, you have a plan and you're working towards it. So the other people who don't understand money, who are just wasting money, when you get money, you have a plan for that. You have a plan for that, and that will be able to save the future of your life, the future of your family, the future of your marriage, the future of the country. Because we'll be tired as if you have the wrong guy with wrong financial understanding becoming the president. They will sink the economy in a minute. Because their decisions will only be wrong. Their decisions will always be wrong, because they will not have value for money. And so the same at the personal level, the same at the country level, the same at the business level. Financial knowledge. Those who are leading it, the understanding of the finances, how it's made, how it's saved, how it's multiplied, how it's increased. It's a reflection of our financial knowledge. And so thank you very much. And God is not responsible for your financial knowledge and your financial success. God is not responsible, so don't wait for God. Actually, He's waiting for you. Because if He was not, then why would He write Proverbs, for instance? Because Proverbs has a lot of knowledge in terms of finances. He said, build your business before you build your house. That's Solomon. Build your business before you build your house. It means that build the sources of your revenue before you build this house, because this house is not a source of revenue. It's the best of that house is just savings that you're saving. It's not an investment, the house that you're living in. So why don't you build your investments? Why don't you build your businesses first before you start to build this house? That was a great thought, and that came from the great man himself, Solomon. So I don't think those things will be in the Bible, and God will still be responsible for your finances. No, it's you are responsible for your finances. And so if you don't have it, there's always a starting point that we can start. There's always a starting point, and the moment we start right here, we will grow it, and hopefully we will not be old waiting for Senate to take care of us, because that will be a sad ending for you to wait for Senate to take care of your finances. That's dangerous. And you see, the thing about it is that the last time it was 2000, year 2000. We were talking about Y2K. Now it's 2017. That's 17 years. So the next time they are talking about, they'll be talking about 2040. And by that time, if you're 30 years now, you'll be you'll be old. So you better plan and get the knowledge. Don't trust the local knowledge that they have given you, your family has given you in terms of money if they were not rich. Don't trust it. Replace it and go for the right knowledge. And so thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Thank you. We are trying to share the little things that we have learned over these years, and hopefully somebody, even if it's such one person, makes the right choice. That will be very gratifying. It's better we share these kind of things than just always about comedy and sports and entertainment, and we're still wallowing in poverty. I think that is better, and there's no knowledge that is so much more important to the African than the knowledge that will lift the African from poverty, from lack of productivity, from us rushing everywhere. You see doctors finish school and they are rushing to become nurses in another country. Why? It's not the hardship here, it's the knowledge. And so I'm of the opinion that the greatest need of the black man is productive knowledge. Knowledge about himself, knowledge about his people, knowledge about things that work. His economy, his history, his culture, his future. And those kind of things are not discussed. Yet we think that when we are discussing the politics and the sports and the comedy and the drama, our country will change. No wonder it's not changing that fast as we want it, because the knowledge that has to be prevalent is rather in a minority. Is in the minority, and everything can be explained. Africa's poverty can be explained because Africa is still very slow in getting productive culture, productive knowledge, productive tradition to shift us. It's still very slow. So we are not upgrading the knowledge that quickly as the others are doing. We're even very slow trying to add scientific findings to our culture. We are about the only people who do that. Because when technology comes up, they try to, a lot of the other cultures try to add technology to your culture that quickly, and they improve. Why? Because new diseases are coming, population is increasing. So you have to upgrade your knowledge to keep up with this. If your knowledge is not increasing, it means that you're going to have the same problem or even bigger problems all the time. And for me, that is Africa. So the beauty of the culture is not in the drumming and dancing. The beauty of the culture is having a people who are dignified. It's not the scene of the poverty. No, that's the beauty. It's not the ignorance. It's not the children schooling in school, in a classroom that they are sitting on the floor. That's not the beauty of a culture. No. It's when our people are coming out with creative thinking that is original to us. That's why you can have young Africans who can debate anybody across the world and never feel inferior. That's why you can have a president talk to any other country's president and talk in dignity and defend his people and fight for his people. And I think that these things will come as the knowledge spreads. And it's not the football kind of knowledge. It's not entertainment. But why are we doing entertainment when we have? I thought that the people who enjoy entertainment are those who have worked. They've been productive. Then they go and relax. No, we have to work first before we go to all this football and all this dancing and drumming and all these things. We have a lot of work to do. If you want to prevent our young people from going to Libya, our young women from going to Saudi Arabia, for our doctors from going to America, our engineers from going to England. Because we need them. We train them here and they go. So who should be here to develop us, Who should be here? And we think that just the politicians talking on the radio will develop the country. That's a lie. We are finding their livelihood. They are finding their feet. They are finding ways to build a house and car and become prominent. They are not thinking of development. Forget. It's the development is going to come from people like yourself, people like me, trying to do our bit around where we are. Being productive. And that's why Africa is going to grow. And that's why me, I am much more interested in sharing this kind of knowledge, particularly to the young people, to the youth, because they are the future of our country. I'm not much concerned about the so-called middle class or the so-called successful. I don't care about them that much. I care about the guy from a village who is trying to find his feet, and he has no hope. He thinks that he has no hope. You know, I'm talking to the graduate who is finishing school and is confused as to what to do with his life. Those are the people that I'm passionate about. I don't care about the doctor, the lawyer somewhere who thinks that he's successful, and yet a lot of his people are looking for help and he doesn't even see it. I'm not talking of those kind of people. I'm talking of the guy who we can talk to that, listen, there's hope. Those are the people that, because I wish somebody talked to me that way, and somebody gave me that strategy and a plan and proper understanding of myself and proper understanding of the country and proper understanding of the world. You know, I wish when I was growing up somebody was there to give me proper knowledge on finance, entrepreneurship, on the things that will be much more important for me to create the future that I have to create, you know. And so that's what gets my attention. It's not a guy who thinks that he's arrived and therefore it's only about him and his family. I don't care about those. I really don't even look up to them. I look up to the ones who are open, who are ready to give help, to offer, who are ready to create the future that we so much want, dignity for our people. And that's why I share some of the things that I get to share, you know. So it's not that we know much, no. It's just that you can share whatever is on your heart, and it will always be a blessing to somebody. You may never know, you know. And so that is why we share. And so financial knowledge is so critical if you're going to have any kind of successful life. You cannot take the money out, never. And you cannot create the money genuinely if you don't know it. And so this is just a bit of it. The rest is for you to sit down and develop your own kind of content, how you're going to get this kind of financial freedom and financial knowledge. So thank you very much, Mr. John. Thank you very much, Baba. Thank you, William Amano, and thank you, Charles, and anybody who spent your time watching this. I pray that I'm able to build a bigger platform and share what I know as we continue to learn and to build a better continent for the next generation. So if you don't mind, you can share the videos with your friends, you know, and introduce what I'm trying to do to a lot of people around the country, around the continent, and around the world. And I'll be glad you will do that. And so thank you very much, and good night from Ghana.